Have you ever wondered why some men seem trapped in a permanent state of struggle while others remain unshakable in the face of chaos? It isn't about IQ, it is about wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that there are 7 specific phrases, verbal red flags that signal a weak mind and a fragile spirit. If you catch yourself saying even one of these, you are unknowingly sabotaging your own power. Today, we expose these silent killers and replace them with unbreakable truth. If you are ready to leave the path of the fool and walk the path of the sage, subscribe now. Let the transformation begin. The first mark of the foolish man is the refusal to accept ownership. When the stupid man, and by stupid we mean philosophically unwise, faces a crisis, his first instinct is to look outward. He says, "It's not my fault. The economy is bad. My boss is unfair. My partner is difficult." He becomes the eternal victim. By blaming the world, he admits that the world has power over him. He voluntarily hands the keys to his happiness to strangers and circumstances. The Stoic, however, knows that blame is a waste of mental energy. Epictetus, the great slave-turned-philosopher, taught us that there are things in our control and things out of our control. The foolish man tries to control the external and ignores the internal. The wise man ignores the external and masters the internal. Consider the story of the 2 captains navigating a storm. The foolish captain screams at the wind, cursing the waves for being too rough, shouting at the gods for their cruelty. He abandons the wheel to shake his fist at the sky. The wise captain looks at the same storm and says nothing. He knows the storm does not care about his opinion. Instead, he adjusts his sails. He grips the wheel tighter. He focuses only on what he can do. Steer. When you say, "It's not my fault," you are the captain screaming at the wind. You are declaring your own helplessness. A Stoic understands that while the event might not be your fault, the response is always your responsibility. To blame is to remain a child. To accept responsibility, even for messes you didn't make, is the first step toward manhood. As long as you are busy pointing fingers, your hands are too busy to build a solution. This is perhaps the most dangerous lie a man can tell himself. "He made me lose my temper." This phrase implies that your emotional state is a remote control device and everyone around you holds a remote. The foolish man believes that insults, traffic, or rude people force him to react. He is a puppet jerked around by the strings of other people's behavior. If the world is kind, he is happy. If the world is harsh, he is miserable. He has no fortress of the mind. Seneca, the Roman statesman, famously said, "Anger is a temporary madness." He described anger not as a sign of strength, but as a sign of weakness, a collapse of reason. When you say someone made you angry, you are admitting that you lack the discipline to guard your own mind. Imagine a man walking through a crowded market. Someone bumps into him hard. He spins around, furious, ready to fight, screaming about respect. Then he looks down and sees that the person who bumped him is blind and uses a cane. Instantly his anger vanishes, replaced by compassion. What changed? The physical event was the same. The bump was the same. The only thing that changed was his judgment of the event. This proves that the stranger didn't make him angry. His opinion of the stranger made him angry. The stupid man is a slave to his immediate impressions. The Stoic pauses. He realizes that an insult is like a rock thrown at a cliff. If the cliff is solid, the rock simply bounces off. If you are easily provoked, you are easily controlled. Do not give anyone that power over you. The foolish man lives his entire life in the future. He says, "I'll be happy when I get that promotion. I'll be happy when I buy that house. I'll be happy when I retire." He treats the present moment as a waiting room, a mere obstacle to get through to reach some imaginary paradise. This is the definition of anxiety and dissatisfaction. By tying his happiness to future events that may never happen, he guarantees misery in the now. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, who had everything a man could want, wealth, power, fame, reminded himself daily to find contentment in the present duty. He wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." He understood that the future is a mist, and the past is a memory. The present is the only reality we possess. There is a parable of a wealthy businessman who sees a fisherman resting by his boat at noon, laughing with his family. The businessman asks, "Why aren't you out fishing more? You could buy more boats." build a fleet, and eventually build a canning factory. The fisherman asks, "And then what?" The businessman says, "Then you could retire, sit by the ocean, sleep late, and enjoy your family." The fisherman smiles and says, "Sir, what do you think I am doing right now?" The stupid man runs on a treadmill, chasing a horizon he can never catch. He postpones his life until he is too old to enjoy it. Stoicism isn't about lack of ambition. It's about ambitious action without the desperate attachment to the result. If you cannot find peace in who you are today, you will not find it with $1 million tomorrow. You will simply be a rich, miserable man. Stop waiting to live. This is the cry of the man who believes the universe owes him comfort. When tragedy strikes, when he loses money or falls ill, the foolish man feels personally targeted. He views hardship as an injustice. Why me? I'm a good person. This isn't fair. He resists reality. This resistance creates suffering, turning pain which is inevitable into misery which is optional. The Stoic embraces a concept called amorati, a love of fate, not just tolerating what happens, but loving it. The Stoic sees every obstacle not as a block in the path, but as the path itself. Imagine you're a wrestler. If your coach pairs you with a weak, fragile opponent, you learn nothing. You remain weak. But if your coach pairs you with a giant, a champion who throws you around the mat, you struggle, you sweat, and you bleed. The foolish man asks, "Why does the coach hate me?" The wise man understands the coach is trying to make me a champion. Life is that coach. When you say, "Why is this happening to me?" you are rejecting the training. You are wishing for a life of ease, which is a life of decay. Marcus Aurelius thanked the gods for his difficulties because they allowed him to test his virtue. When the fire burns, everything you throw into it becomes fuel for the fire. A stupid man is extinguished by the wind. A Stoic is the fire that burns brighter because of it. Stop asking why me, and start asking what can I learn from this. The moment a man thinks he knows everything, he stops growing. The phrase, "I know that already," is the tombstone of intelligence. The foolish man protects his ego by pretending to be an expert. He listens to reply, not to understand. He views new information as a threat to his intelligence rather than a supplement to it. He is rigid and like a dry twig. Because he is rigid, he snaps easily. Epictetus was a teacher, and he would kick students out of his classroom who were arrogant. He famously said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. If your cup is full, nothing more can be poured in." There is a Zen story that mirrors this Stoic truth perfectly. A scholar visited a master to inquire about Zen. As the master served tea, he poured the scholar's cup full and then kept pouring. The tea overflowed, spilling onto the table in the scholar's robes. The scholar shouted, "Stop! The cup is full. No more will go in." The master replied, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you wisdom unless you first empty your cup?" The stupid man walks through life with a full cup, guarding his ignorance, terrified to admit he is wrong. The Stoic cultivates the mind of a student. He is willing to look foolish in the short term to become wise in the long term. He asks questions. He admits mistakes. He knows that true wisdom lies in admitting the vastness of what you do not know. "I'm too busy. I don't have time to read, to exercise, to think." The foolish man wears his busyness like a badge of honor. He mistakes movement for progress. He thinks that running around in circles means he is getting somewhere. But usually "I don't have time" as a lie. What he really means is, it is not a priority. He has time to scroll on his phone for 2 hours, but no time to meditate for 10 minutes. Seneca wrote an entire essay on this called "On the Shortness of Life." His conclusion: life is long enough if you know how to use it. He observed that men guard their money greedily. They wouldn't let a stranger steal their wallet. Yet they let everyone steal their time. They give hours to meaningless arguments, days to frivolous entertainment, and years to jobs they hate. Imagine you have a bank account that deposits $86,400 every morning. But at the end of the day, whatever you haven't used is deleted. You can't save it. You would spend every cent, wouldn't you? That is your life. You get 86,400 seconds every day. The foolish man lets them drain away, distracted and unfocused. The Stoic treats time as his most precious commodity. He ruthlessly cuts out the non-essential. He says no to the good so he can say yes to the great. When a man says he doesn't have time to improve himself, he is saying he is too busy driving to stop for gas. Eventually, he will break down. Do not be the man who reaches his deathbed realizing he was busy. But he never lived. This is the ultimate cage. The foolish man lives his life for an audience that isn't watching. He buys things he doesn't need with money he doesn't have to impress people he doesn't like. He is terrified of judgment. He censors his true thoughts and suppresses his true nature because he craves the validation of the crowd. He is a slave to the opinions of others. Marcus Aurelius found this behavior baffling. He asked, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet set less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." Think of an actor on a stage. If he spends the whole play looking at the audience to see if they are clapping, he will forget his lines. He will trip over the set. He will ruin the performance. To perform well, he must focus on the craft, on the truth of the scene, not the applause. The stupid man is the actor looking at the crowd. He changes his personality like a chameleon to fit in. The Stoic stands firm. He values his own conscience above his reputation. He knows that fame is just noise, and reputation is just what people think you are. Character is who you actually are. If you seek the approval of others, you give them the power to destroy you with a single criticism. Break the chains. Let them think what they want. You have a life to lead. These 7 phrases, blaming others, claiming anger, postponing happiness, rejecting fate, feigning knowledge, wasting time, and fearing opinion, are the walls of a prison you built for yourself. But the door is unlocked. You can walk out at any moment. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about suppressing stupidity. It's about seeing the world clearly and acting with courage. Catch yourself the next time these words try to leave your mouth. Swallow them. Replace them with responsibility, gratitude, and action. If this video added value to your life, do not let the lesson end here. Hit the like button to help others find this path, and subscribe specifically if you want to master your mind, while others lose theirs. The choice is yours.